morning. Welcome to the Rapid City Planning Commission meeting for August 4th, 2016. If any member of the audience wishes to speak to an item on the Planning Commission agenda, there are speaker request forms along the table at the left wall. Please fill out the request with the agenda item of the agenda number of the item you wish to speak to and hand it to the staff seated on the left of the dais. At this time, we'd also like to ask that if any member of the audience has a cell phone or other electronic device, that please turn it to silent or turn it off. If you need to take a call, please step out to the hallway. Items 1 through 5 have been placed on the consent calendar and may be approved as a group. Action will be taken on all consent items in accordance with staff's recommendation by a single vote. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar by any planning commissioner, staff member, or audience member for separate consideration at this time. The findings of this planning commission are recommendations to the city council. The city council will make the final decision. Are there any items 1 through 5 that staff would like removed? Any items 1 through 5 that planning commission would like removed? And any items 1 through 5 that the audience would like removed? Jan made the motion to approve items 1 through 5 per staff recommendation. Steve seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6.
Thank you. Good morning. Item number 6 is 16 PD 035. Final plan development overlay to allow a conference room and an on-sale liquor establishment in conjunction with a hotel. This is for the Ramada Inn located at 1902 North Lacrosse Street. It's just to the northeast of the intersection of Eglin Street and North Lacrosse. Let me take you through some slides. Property zone general commercial district. The plan development designation that you see on the western boundary is actually a part of the Rushmore Crossing plan development, and it does not actually contain any part of the Ramada plan development that we're going through here today. Aerial view of the property. I should note that they are not proposing any expansions or additions to any of the structures in the building. The applicant is actually proposing to turn the indoor swimming pool that's located inside the structure into a conference room, about 9,800 square feet or so. And then also there's an existing on-sale liquor establishment in conjunction with the hotel bar, which has been operating in a legal non-conforming status since 1990, prior to 1992. They're proposing to just get the conditional use permit for that legally non-conforming use done today as a part of this request. Future land use shows it as mixed-use commercial. The pan out a little bit, you see a regional activity center at Rushmore Mall and also at Rushmore Crossing. So this is in the middle of one of our more highly developed commercial districts and activity centers. And Lacrosse Street is Principal Archero Street on the major street plan. Eglin is a collector. There's a site plan showing the existing development on the property. As I noted, there are no additions or expansions being proposed as a part of this. The Arnold's Diner, as I know it, it's had several names over the years, it is located on this property, is not considered to be a part of the use of this property, will continue to be used. It's not being used currently. The applicant is hoping to relocate the structure, but in the meantime, it will be used for storage and office space. Interior layout of the main structure of the facility. This area here would be where the conference room is being constructed, and this area there with the red cloud around it is for the existing on-sale liquor use, which is not proposing to be altered or expanded in any way. Some signage of the property as it exists today. We'll go through this again on my site photos to get a little more context of where those are located at. They do have one LED message center as a part of an existing pole sign, which does conform to the requirements of Rapid City Municipal Code. They are not proposing to change or alter that sign in any way. They also do have a billboard on the site. Here's the signs posted on the property at the front entrance. Look at Lacrosse Street to the north. Across Lacrosse Street, the Perkins and the hotel across the street, and Lacrosse Street to the south. Additional look at the entrance to the building. This is that LED message center that I noted earlier. No changes proposed to that. the Ramada sign there on the left. That Motel 6 sign is on a different property, and the existing diner. I'll look at the Ramada Center. This is on the east side of the property, behind the buildings, away from the cross street. To give you an example of the landscaping that they have in place, they do exceed their landscaping points. And this is the southern building on the property. Should take a moment here to note that they are requesting an exception to reduce the required amount of parking on the site from 464 spaces that would be required as a part of the expansion of the conference room to 298 spaces, which is what they have on the site today. That is a 36% reduction. The applicant has noted that as a part of this, their maximum capacity is between 80 and 95% capacity, typically during this time right now, during the rally, during the summer tourism months. And off-season, their capacity runs between 20 and 60%. So as a part of the operation of this facility, they are noting in their operations plan that they will not rent out that conference center during the peak tourism season in order to ensure that the requested reduction in parking does not have an adverse impact on the neighborhood, and that they'll be able to park all of their hotel rooms at the same time without having concerns with the conference center use. The operations plan, we would require that the applicant operate the facility according to the operations plan that they have submitted that would be approved as a part of this plan development today. Some of the additional parking, this is a look at the billboard as it exists in the property. No changes or alterations to that. And one more look at the front of the facility to give you a sense of all the parking that is located on the site. Staff's reviewed this and does believe that if operated in conjunction with or in compliance with the operations plan that has been submitted, that the requested reduction in parking should not have an adverse impact on the neighborhood. As you can see, they do have ample parking on the site, but it is a rather large complex, so the parking will be used during the summer months. With that, staff is recommending that this application be approved with the stipulations that are in the staff report, and we are available for questions at this time.
Thank you, Robert. Any questions from the commission?
Move for approval.
Second.
Steve made the motion to approve. Karen seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of approving this item per the staff recommendation, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7. Karen is going to abstain from this item.
Item number 7 is a major amendment to a planned unit development for the Cleary Building to allow a gym. We've seen this in the last year twice. It's zone low density residential and a planned unit development. The planned unit development is for this neighborhood, and it allows up to 20% to be used for commercial uses. The last time we saw this, it was approving Cleary Building as professional offices and removing Black Hills garage doors as a professional office. Before you on the dais is actually a revised sheet with stipulations stating the issue we had last couple times, 3 planned developments ago, was we allowed a small animal vet clinic, and then Cleary Building had to come back in with a major amendment to get back in the building. So we now have a revised stip stating that if the sports club use does not go in, that the professional offices as previously being used would be allowed to stay. So low density residential planned unit development. No structural changes to the building being proposed. It's the existing structure, parking, access off of Catron and Wellington Drive. Future land use shows it as a low density neighborhood, and Catron as a entrance corridor and an arterial street. A few of the things that are happening that were previously stipulated and the applicant is still proposing. There are some trees along this east property line which are going to be replaced. In addition, there was an update earlier in the week where the applicants indicated they're going to put a screening fence along this east property line, and that's being stipulated as being put in by, I believe, May of 2017. Other issue, there's a dumpster located on this northeast corner of the parking lot. That either needs to be screened, or the applicants indicated they might be moving it inside the building, in which case they wouldn't have to screen it. In addition, there's an area around it which is gravel, which needs to be revegetated. Elevations showing what the building looks like. Here we have an interior floor plan where they're going to be changing some things up. They do have some ADA accessibility issues they'll have to figure out before they get a building permit, but that's also being stipulated. The applicant has indicated that the existing structure, which is a lot of its cold storage, is actually going to be insulation put in, and so one of the public comments, which is also before you on the dais, is that the noise from the gym, should there be any, what are they doing to address that, and providing that insulation should provide some sound proofing. There's an existing pole sign located on the property. They're proposing to change out the front of it, and as well as putting signage on the front of the building which won't be lit, which was one of our concerns, was just making sure that it fits into the residential neighborhood. This is looking into the property. The sign is posted. Looking to the west at Catron, northeast along Catron, and towards 16, the intersection at 16, and then the residential neighborhood. This is the area where the dumpster is, and the trees which have died, which need to be replaced, as well as where the fence is going to go, which will provide definitely that visual buffer from those residential residences on that side, as well as providing some blocking of the sound. Looking into the neighborhood along Wellington and to the west. One of the things the applicant is requesting is that the hours of operation, which for a professional office were approved at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., be revised to 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. They're saying there's about going to be 10 to 12 classes with attendance of around 4 to 5 people per class, with their lowest attendance being early in the morning. This being more neighborhood serving use than what's previously been in there. It appears that with the soundproofing, the fencing, and the operations plan, that it would be appropriate for the neighborhood. But so if the planning commission decides that it's appropriate, we recommend that the hours of operation be amended. We have, like I said, we have received some public comment from the neighborhood stating that the increased traffic driving through the neighborhood will have a negative impact. However, one of the things we looked at previously was if this were zoned medium density residential and was an apartment complex, they could have up to 59 apartments on this property. And so with 10 to 12 classes at an hour length and being more neighborhood serving than professional offices or vet clinic, staff recommends that the major amendment be approved with stipulations revised before you on the dais, and the applicant's here with any questions. And
Thank you, Fletcher. Any questions for Fletcher before we take some public comment? Andy?
Reading the staff report here, I apologize, I need to find it again. just give me a second. Let me find where my question was. Hold on.
You bet. I've got a speaker request from Matt Miles here.
Just here to answer any questions in case there are any that arise.
Okay.
I found
Amy
it.
can, oh, Andy.
Found it. Fletcher, underneath the findings category on your staff report, it, to summarize, it talks about appears that the change in use from professional office to gym is in keeping with the original intent of the planned unit development to provide a neighborhood serving use, and that the comprehensive plan supports a range of recreational activities. Can you explain that in a little bit more detail?
If we go through the history of the planned unit development, it was originally approved for, I believe, an equestrian center. And over the years, it's changed. Since we've seen it, it's been professional offices, small animal hospital, back to professional offices, and now we're moving to a gym. The original equestrian center was for the neighborhood specifically, thus the neighborhood serving use, and then the recreational services comes from the comprehensive plan, which supports a variety of public and private recreational uses throughout the city.
Follow-up question, Mr. Chairman. So what you're saying is when the initial planned unit development was created for this parcel, it allowed for recreational type uses of this piece of property, and that, in your opinion, this falls well within that?
Yeah. Vicki?
The direct answer would be yes. Remember, this isn't a planned unit development. It was approved originally in the county. I happen to have been the county planner that reviewed it all those years ago. And it was a planned unit development then, too. The city's regulations back when it was annexed in and was brought forward for review in the city allowed 20% of an area within a planned unit development where all land was zoned low-density residential to have neighborhood commercial, not general commercial, not industrial, but neighborhood commercial. And it also allows for high-density residential in a portion of it, so apartment uses could go there without rezoning. We're excited. This is the first use since the original that really has opened the doors to serve the neighborhood, I think to the intent that the ordinance meant. And the applicants did have a neighborhood meeting before this meeting, and they've worked with and spoken with several of the neighbors to encourage that use of the facility, so it is actually functioning as a neighborhood commercial use. Because it's a gym, it meets the criteria for recreational that our future land use plan encourages along this corridor as well, so it kind of checks all the boxes.
Thanks. We have a few more speaker request forms. Jamie Kennedy.
I'm just one of the owners for the gym.
Okay. Same for Trace? Yeah. Okay. Phil Syverson? Okay. Karen Ballman?
Good morning again. I just wanted everyone to know my name is Karen Bowman. I am on the Planning Commission, and I'm recusing myself because I live in this neighborhood. I did attend the open house that they had down there. They run a very clean facility, and the folks seem to be, very accommodating to the neighbors. I think they'll be good neighbors. I think the use is correct. I do want to bring up a couple things because my neighbors have contacted me, and they're not able to be here because they work, and they've asked me to at least bring forward their concerns, and so that's what I'm doing. The one concern that is paramount for most of the neighbors is the drive-through, and I know when we visited at the open house, they were going to encourage their clients or their members to come through that one entrance and not make the U-turn all the way around, but that is a big concern of all the neighbors up there. There's a lot of kids up there, and they in the street, back and forth, cross houses. When I drive through in that U-turn, it is difficult sometimes when the kids are out because they're behind the cars and they're little and they don't seem to pay a lot of attention because it's a quiet neighborhood and they feel safe up there. So I want to encourage those folks that are going to use those, the members that are going to use that, to really make sure that those folks come through that one main entrance by the Cleary building, because that's the big concern of everyone. The other concern has been the addition of the hours, and I know it says from 5 to 8 or whatever, and that's because to accommodate their classes. But if they would expand those classes and get a lot of more cars there, that is a concern also. If you and I want to clarify, I think Fletcher said there was 10 classes with 4 each. I think it's 4 classes or 6 classes with 10 each, I think is more accurate. And so you get 10, 12 cars there. That's a lot more than there is today. So the neighbors are going to see that. They're going to realize that there's a bigger impact than there is currently. It's better than it was, obviously, when the industrial stuff was there, but going from Cleary right now, which is really quiet, to a more active center is going to, people are going to notice that, and they're going to, call out. And I know some of the neighbors are very active, and you all obviously know how active our little subdivision is, because we're always here complaining about something. And but I can tell you that they will contact the owners directly and the city if something does not appear right. So I just wanted to make those comments before you gentlemen, ladies, vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Andy?
Fletcher, could you show me where this U-turn is that Karen's talking about? Can't seem to see it.
We're talking the entrance that's to the north.
I'm talking about the horseshoe that goes around.
I mean, it's going to be further to the north. I don't have
I think there's one that sort of go way to
So it's going to be what, closer to Wellington?
This is the area that we want them to come in. This goes all the way around like a horseshoe.
This goes around, so they don't want them using this entrance.
Just use this main entrance.
Steve made the motion to approve this per staff recommendations.
Correct.
Was it Galen on the second? Is there any further comment?
I would have
Audience?
one comment. We actually have
Nope,
drafted
please.
letter.
Can you step up to the mic and identify yourself, please, so we can get the minutes right?
My name is Matt Miles. I'm the planner and the fiance of one of the owners. So one comment that I would like to make is that we have drafted a letter that we're going to send out to all of our current members and any future members, that we are not only requesting, but basically making it very important to them that they know that they are not allowed to come into the northern entrance. They have to make the U-turn and come into the main entrance right next to Cleary. We are even going as far as offering some consequences if they do not, possibly 1 strike, 2 strike, and then you're not a member of ours anymore if they do not follow our instructions to come into the proper entrance to keep that traffic as minimal as possible through the neighborhood itself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda?
Yes, I am very excited with the commitments they've made to keep things as safe as possible for children, because that's my main concern, is there is a significant number of children, and we've had some tragedies in our area, so I appreciate your efforts in that area.
Andy?
Thank you, Eric. I'm in support of the motion. I guess my question is more for staff. So, we have a relatively small building here, 4,000 square feet, plus parking, but we have over 2 acres, and there's potential for other things to happen in the future. Does this, we're not reapproving the zoning, or what are we doing today? Or is this a zoning change? This is just a use approval. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
That's correct, Andy. You are changing the use from what was previously approved on the site to allow for a neighborhood gymnasium,
Okay. So if there was any future development of the site, it would have to come back through.
or potentially even expansion of the gymnasium.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Vicki.
Any further comment, questions? Seeing none, let's vote on the motion on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion items, staff items?
Carla has a staff item, Mr. Chair.
Carla? Come up with something quick. Welcome back.
I'm pulling up the agenda, sorry. I just wanted to update you. We provided an update to the council at their meeting on Monday. Robert and I talked to you several months ago about a short-term rental ordinance where we would address bed and breakfast, Airbnbs, vacation home rentals. You'll see that hopefully at the next meeting. So since we provided an update to the council, I thought I'd give you an update as well.
All right, thank you. Sounds good. Linda made the motion to adjourn. Karen made the motion to second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.